Welcome to another McLogo video, and we're in iRacing, a VRS sprint on the lovely track of Monza, the GP track.
Hold position behind the safety car in the left column.
And we managed to qualify P2. It was not very close. The P1 was about half a second faster, but I could put the other guys behind me. And I think this is a good showcase for how tactics can really work in iRacing, and also really fun to. It was a really fun race to drive. As I said before, P1 was faster, so I think that he can lap faster. So my tactic is to get it off with a clean start, not fall behind, and just stay behind P1 and try to have him pull us partially through the game. Maybe I'm trying to maybe save fuel, stay behind him, and maybe we get a shot, to challenge him. Or get past him if he can stay long enough in his draft and save fuel in this race. So this is my tactic for this race, and we'll see if it will work out. I'm kind of staying a little bit behind. Also, to have have him inside to see when he's starting. As you can see here, I was a little slightly slow on the reaction time, but the other cars weren't faster, so that's good. Straight away going into drafts to get behind him, and I see the inside. I'm kind of moving through into the middle, but it's okay there because the Mercedes in the inside also was moving to the inside, that he's not being overtaken. And here you can see something typical for Monza. I mean, not the crash, but the two wide behind us. It cost so much more time that P1 and P2 we were already able to pull away, maybe one second, even more, 1.5 seconds. And that is basically, typical Monza. If you try to go for a move, or if you, just also in the first turn, you straight away just lose pace. It's so much faster, of course. And normally, there are a lot of crashes also in turn 1 already. I'm just trying to stay clean, stay in draft, not risking anything on the first lap. I'm driving it more or less comfortable, and I can see he's already, he's confident. He's already trying to build a gap, kind of, or pull away. Not the perfect exit, but through Ascari, but it's fine. We get it right, and as long as I can stay kind of in draft, then I know I'll be able to catch up, to pull up, and that's actually the easy thing of Monza. It's kind of a special race where draft, I think one of the tracks where draft is very highly rated, and you can basically also win against drivers that are faster, just staying in draft and keeping up with them, and maybe at the right time being able to attack them. So what I'm doing already here is kind of saving a little bit of fuel, and here also through the chicane I try to go pretty aggressive over the curbs. The Lamborghini is not the best car to do jump curbs or to go over curbs, but it's for here. I feel like in Monza it's kind of safer to go over the curbs, and also like here, if I can even more, just to I get less off tracks and I get less into a situation. Into a situation where I get an incident of that. As you see here, he went a little bit wide. I guess that was a 1-point incident. And it's kind of even. I mean, the cars in P4, up to P4, are still managing to follow us. We're not driving away. There's a huge gap, and I think also that they might slightly sometimes becoming nearer. It depends how I'm lapping. But P1 is pretty much, it's still in still in the range where I can get draft, where I am slightly faster on the straights, and this helps a lot for also for just to pull near, to stay behind him. And the main thing what I'm doing, of course I could, if I would be near, I could even save more, but that's fine. I'm just saving that slight amount of fuel more, and I hope that he's not doing the same, that he's just he had a bad chicane here. So straight away able to pull nearer, and even just with some slight fuel saving. I always looked at the fuel calculator. I've got the Racelabs fuel calculator that I'm using, and I always check what is the average that I'm burning to see. I know normally it's about 3.9 per lap, I think, or something around that might be, that I saw before. And when I drove and I did a little lifting, I did a little fuel saving, I was at 3.7 per lap, or maybe also lower, but on the average. And of course that is an amount over maybe 22 laps that this might take. You can calculate that's a lap basically that you win in more, and also the fuel amount that you had to refuel less. That will be a benefit maybe of 3 seconds or even 4 seconds. I'm not even sure, but that was my tactic at the end, just to drive economically, still stay be quick. And maybe that's how we can get a shot at him. I'm not pulling to the right side, not to indicate that I want to overtake. Really, just staying easy behind him, because I don't want to do the lead work. Doing the lead work is first of all more stressful, and I kind of. It's harder to save fuel, and he would basically normally, if you got somebody behind, then it's naturally to either to attack you or to put pressure on you or to save fuel. But on this track, I'm looking at what the really good drivers do. I'm following some channels where I might be watching Sven Hase from iRacing, or also Patrick Richter, which is Riley Sim Racing, and these tactics. I like to watch the really good drivers and kind of copy to also understand how they save fuel. And even if I would be in front, I would also be lifting just to not get the car behind, to have a large benefit. And here this was a mistake. I was sliding too hard and I'm losing the draft. And you could basically think, okay, now he's away, he will pull away, and the cars behind me are catching. But now you still have to keep in mind, the race is maybe 8 minutes old, and we have been saving fuel, so we're still in the margin of being able to catch him again anyway through the box. And now the important part is I'm still saving fuel. I'm not on every lap, but I'm still thinking, hey, I will lift early, I will still try to pull nearer again, but I will keep lifting and trying to keep the economy, or the amount of fuel that I'm using per lap at the same point, so that I still have the benefit if he's not saving fuel, and I can kind of match his speed. I will still be able to pull near. This is the tactic, and I think, of course, Monza is special, as it's very long straights, and it's basically the model for fuel saving. I'm still, just trying to first lift, let the car just roll for a few meters, and then apply the brakes. which you don't lose a lot of time if you don't do it very early. Even draft you can, of course, do it earlier, and yeah, you will of course save more. It's easier. But even if I'm here, I'm just driving, and I'm basically not losing any time on the lap. It's kind of stable if you look at the gap into the front and to the back. I kind of managed to get still to drive a gap between to P3, which is good. Also, one thing that can also easily happen if you put too much pressure on yourself. You think, hey, now I have to be super fast, and you'll do mistakes. So that's why I try to keep calm and just do my laps, do my race, and not focus on somebody that will catch me. So just thought, yeah, we try too easy to drive. I'm going maybe with let's say 95 to 98% here. Oh, by the way, the funny thing was also, as soon as I was out of the draft, I kind of could focus better on my driving, and I could. I did not catch up to him, but I did not lose a lot of time to the front. I was able to pretty much lap successfully and quite consistently for my skill. And yeah, that was actually really nice. I was happy to actually be able to lap consistently and not do any major mistakes so far. And also, by all means, of course, there's much better drivers, really drivers there where you can learn something. And this video is just to show you what I kind of learned from such drivers. I certainly cannot do this good or perfectly as they can, but it's something that I just want to say. This tactic, it even works in the lower skill races, maybe even better than in the higher strength of fields where a lot of people are saving fuel or might be saving fuel. And I want to also to show you how, as for my feelings, how strong this tactic is, and how strong it is actually to drive economically and to save fuel. I mean, not for the environment because it's e-racing, and anyway, it's not. But you see here with iRacing, you cannot work with the mapping of the car, but with the driving style. And yeah, we'll see how much we can get out of this. And also, if you compare the line of the front car, he's driving basically between these between the curbs, as the car is moving less, and I'm going pretty aggressively over the curbs. And yeah, for Lesmo, before Lesmo. Which is basically you can see there's not there's not just one tactic or not just one line that you can drive. There are basically more. Also here some go over the curbs, and also here the thing is just that in the Ascari, it's with this car it's deadly if you hit the curbs with a splitter. If you go with the left wheel on the left side of the curb, and then the curb hits the middle part of the car, then you basically damage your splitter or the floor, and that will make the car significantly slower. You can see then if you hit it with a damaged splitter, you'll maybe only reach a top speed of maybe minus 10k or minus 5k, and it'll cost you a lot of time. So it's important to kind of nail these parts and not do any mistakes, because one mistake can ruin the car for the race, which is typical for Monza, I think. Happened to me earlier in a few practices I did where I hit that curb, and something I didn't have to learn, and yeah. it's nothing that you see actually. It's not, but you just feel that the car is getting slower, which is basically the under tray or the splitter being damaged. And the weird thing is also, actually, I mean, I like Monza. I like to watch races here. I mean, the track's great, and also the history of everything. It's nice, but I actually do not enjoy driving it so much because it is kind of similar, long, and not so interesting. You drive with a very low wing and not much rake, so that the car gets up to top speed, and this makes it kind of sketchy sometimes to drive. So for me, I don't feel that it's so much enjoyable, but I really truly enjoyed this race here because, you know, exactly tactics. And I earlier at the beginning of the week I raced in the ARL GT trophy. I was actually able to qualify pretty good for my feelings. Kind of in the amateur league, I think I was P3 or P4. That's overall P32, I think, qualifying, but got punted in turn 1 by an incident. I mean, it was nothing intentional or so, just typical somebody getting on the grass and spinning and taking you out. But still could do a recovery drive. At the end it was P10, and with I think penalties from others at the end P9. But it was something. It was a good practice, you know, with 60 cars, and also after some more practice, I was kind of ready for this VRS race. Certainly put in enough practice to race here, and I can also feel it in the consistency, the way that I can drive now on this track. It is really practice that I see that where I do progress. And by the way, I will also be upgrading to a real aluminium rig. Oh, and here I do a slight mistake, come out wide, but still kind of stay on the gas, just lift slightly, try not to lose that much time. So we're still inside of almost maybe 2 seconds to the leader. This is important. I want to kind of be in this 2 second margins. Maybe if I cannot be in the draft, I'll just try to keep kind of near, so we're able to benefit with a nice pit strategy. Basically, what I'm thinking about is saving enough fuel for to have the benefit of going 1 lap more, because first of all we save fuel. We have a later pit entry, and we have to refill less. So my pit stop will be faster anyway if I'm going later, if I can stay out 1 lap more, and with that I should be able to at least close the gap, or if it's enough, if he doesn't save fuel, I should be able to even pull in front of him for the last few laps. And with the late pit strategy, the number of laps that I would then have to do in front of him, I hope to be far enough away so he's not in draft, and if he's not in draft, it will be hard for him to catch, depending on how much of a gap I can pull out of the pit stop. But let's see how it will evolve. But also important here for me is again on the left side is the Racelab indicator for how I'm standing to P3 and P1, so that I know, hey, is this the tactic working? Am I pulling away from the guy when I'm driving? And if I'm staying in touch with car number 1. This could also, as I said earlier, apply pressure if if you're too much into I need to drive out the gap or I need to pull nearer. For me, it's just I needed to indicate to see how far, and I will just try to drive my laps and not focus too much on it. But now I'm feeling that the car is getting lighter, and I'm kind of able to after some time of also driving, to hit the chicane, and also some parts of the track really nicely. So maybe going up 1% or 2% with the pace, or I'm just trying to get out a little bit wide here. I'm losing a little bit of time, but on the margin. And the gap is around 2 seconds. And I thought this guy might, I'm not sure, but I thought this guy might be pretty confident by being in front and also being able to drive out the gap. But also, as he sees that I'm not in draft and I can't stay behind him and manage the pace, it might also make him a little bit nervous. Just to see, hey, if I do one mistake, then he'll be there, and that's what I hope to. That he'll maybe do some mistakes, or that he gets a little bit nervous, and which could create an opportunity for me to catch him. Other than that, it's really a race of consistency, of lapping cleanly, or kind of cleanly, for of course for our skill. And what made this race really interesting. Doing a few laps also, I pretty went full out. I did not save that much fuel, but then again, I started to save fuel, maybe not on the start-stop straight, but on other parts like here, where I lifted kind of early, here, yeah, just to still save some fuel. Because at first I thought, maybe I'll pull nearer, I'll just try to drive maybe a few laps by going flat out, not saving any fuel. But I think it wasn't even faster or that much. It's basically not a big margin, and it's more about if you hit it cleanly, then really that's that small benefit that you have of these few seconds that you're on full throttle at the end of the straight. Also, kind of a funny thing is on Monza, it's basically the Ferrari or the BMW that are quick, should be quicker. In the top splits, I think the Ferrari is pretty much dominating. I've also seen the McLaren being pretty fast for some, but the Audi and the Lamborghini aren't that fast. I mean, it's maybe not that big of a gap, but I think the Ferrari is easier to drive and could be slightly faster. But here we are 1 and 2 is the Lamborghini, and behind us there are BMWs. But yeah, basically it's more depending on the driver and less of the car, I guess, in the lower skilled splits. Yeah. But for me, it's easier. At this time, I'm not changing the car. I want to get fully used to the Lamborghini and to drive that. I think that's more of a benefit. I can be more consistent than if I swap to a car that is maybe on paper faster. I guess this won't work for me. And anyway, if the new Porsche, the GT3R, will be coming out at the end of the season, I'm wanting to switch to that car. But I still love the Lamborghini, and maybe we'll also race this on, but let's see. But I really love the Porsche, but you never know. But I'll try to learn that car and to be fast in that one. And maybe also learn some more regarding setups, to how to set it up and adjust it to my liking. So we're coming into the range where it could be possible that this guy is going for the pits. As far as I think, it would be bad if he would go early to pits. So I guess he'll be at least maxing out the distance that he can go with his 60 liters, and now about 2 seconds of a gap. Here we've got a back marker pulling up, but I hope this shouldn't be too much of losing time. I think this was also P2 or P3 that crashed at the, no, not P2, P3 or P4 that crashed at the beginning of the race, and he leaves him enough space. It's just nice, fair. But I brake too late because, yeah, not optimal. I lost maybe half a second with this overtake, but not on his part. This was just, I didn't focus. Could have driven just normally as before, but yeah. We'll be able to stay in range, I think. This was slightly far, but I think I didn't. I still hit the curb with the wheel, which is good. As long as you don't hit it with the middle of the car, that's fine. Here went wide, but still applied power early, just not lose the momentum, or not lose any time, and he goes for the pits, which is fine. And this is now the indicator that my fuel saving strategy is working, which means I guess he had to pit, and I on this I cannot see it here, but I still had almost fuel, or had fuel for 2 laps. But the issue was with the I can do this additional lap, and the next lap would have been at 0.5 or 0.3, and then the car is starting to stutter, and yeah, rather going 1 lap earlier, I still could drive out 1 lap more and have the advantage of having to refuel less. Should be enough advantage, but even here, it's with more fuel saving, I would have been able to lap 2 laps more than the other guy, which is yeah, so not marginal, it's quite significant to me, and that means the fuel strategy should be working. And now, well, let's see how much time we gain or we can gain with the pit stop. I mean, it could also be possible that he's under fueling, or he has he's kind of putting in less fuel just to maybe save at the end, or some kind of tactics. I don't think so, but you never know. It's also always things that I see that say the really good drivers are doing, and I'm not sure if at this level they already do this, but you never know. And it's also something that I would consider, kind of, by copying things. That not bad of a pit exit, could have been a little bit faster, a bit later on the brakes, but yeah, should be okay. It's not that much of a time. Now the important thing is to hit the braking point, not braking late, not losing any time here. That's why I brake rather early. And I'm already full on the gas just to hit that exit perfectly. And we're out again. And we're still in P1 on the accelerator. And if you look at the gap, number 2 is pulling nearer. It's basically 1.6 seconds, around that. I overshot this a little bit because I wanted to stay out and stay out of draft, and we managed to overtake him. So basically that was a gain of maybe 4 seconds. We were 2.3 or 2.4 behind, and now we're almost 0.6 in front of him. And he also made a slight mistake here, which where I managed to pull nice ahead. And what I'm now doing, I'm just I'm not focusing on the guy behind. I'm not looking at the gap. I'm just trying to drive clean and pull out kind of a gap, or just to lap quickly to be up on speed and up to the rhythm again. That was the goal. And first of all, I thought now he possibly will also try to push, which could be that he'll be closed in, and I don't care about that. I'm just doing my laps, and if he will catch me, then it'll be a race, and that's okay. But just focusing on driving and hitting the exits and everything, and the rest will show. Also here, trying to get near to the inside, getting out, not sliding, not having TC engage, and just lap cleanly. And also the first few laps, going full speed, all out. Also hitting the curbs here really nice inside to get a quick exit, to get a nice lap in. I think the important thing here is just to get a few laps clean, and psychologically I hope that this will also kind of affect him if I get out and straight away on pace. That he might be then trying to push harder and maybe overdrives the car, which I guess can happen easily, especially with the Lamborghini, where I think you get punished for overdriving it more than maybe with a car, or you feel it more than with a car like a BMW or a Ferrari that might be a little bit more forgiving with overdriving. And but we managed to nail the laps here. You can see it with the green indicators of the gap. And this was very confidence inspiring when I thought, okay, yeah, I can lap and I can drive out kind of a gap if I just stay focused and do my laps. And what I then did was again starting to fuel safe, because now I'm using Racelabs for fuel, and with that the fuel is automatically calculated with the average that I'm using, and it does add maybe 0.3 of a lap. So with maybe 0.2 per lap that it should refuel less, I kind of have or should be able to only use also 3.7 per lap. Otherwise, if it's too many laps, I'll get in trouble with fuel. The car might start to stutter if I don't have enough left at the end. So basically, it was just pushing, and then for the laps where I have a gap, then I would try to again drive economically and save fuel. This wasn't perfect here, but the gap is big enough now. or it was, you know, big enough to know, okay, yeah, he shouldn't be catching me if I just drive my thing and not do any mistakes. The dangerous thing is if you will get into the 1 second margin, maybe 1.2, get into draft and could pull near, but that so far didn't happen. As you can see here, I'm already again into fuel save mode, and I'm just here nicely hitting that exit with the curb in the middle. I know when I hit the curb, then the car will rotate nicely, and I get a good exit. Despite I was fairly quick into the chicane. And also here, going through over the curbs, hitting the exit nicely. And this was an off-track, unfortunately, pretty late. It's a little bit, I mean, I don't care, I'm a P1, but getting off tracks late will make you lose a lot of safety rating that you could possibly gain, because the way safety rating is built up, it's kind of like an addition where with each lap you gain, and if you get an off track or something like that, it will take off quite a big amount. And if you get incidents early and you drive and don't get any late, then you get a much higher safety rating than if you get incidents at the end. Just kind of stupid, but yeah, it's just the way it is. And still really nicely in the race. I can manage to stay in front easy and also drive economically again, which is nice. That was a really a good feeling. I kind of was confident now that I've got this, that I can drive this home. I was just focusing on having fun and lapping nicely. And kind of what always happens, which is weird, I never had an issue with Racelabs with the fuel calculator, but almost when it's kind of going to the end of the race, I see how the fuel is low, and you get into that lap where you think, hey, this should be a white flag, and you look at the watch and you're not sure, is it a white flag? Will it be counted? Have I missed maybe out on fuel? Do you have enough fuel? So far it was always good, and my calculation, also the field were right. I knew, or the idea of how to work with the automatic fuel calculator always worked so far. I mean, compared to calculating it yourself during the race, the difference is the fuel calculator will always calculate your fuel on the average that you use. So if you used a low average in the first half, it will refuel to that amount, and you have to kind of keep that or consider that and drive the same in the second half, or it will be hard if you have saved a lot of fuel and then you just go full beans in the second part. That would be basically indication that you have not enough fuel. But so far these are only a few laps at the end, and it should be fine. With only a few laps, it isn't that worse, because of course the amount that it refuels more than you need for the lap also helps you with less laps. If it's more laps, then that amount is quickly burned with the average that you're missing. But this should be fine. And I'm also saving fuel I was saving fuel on the last laps just to be sure that I can that I can go through the full race then also, or not have the car stuttering at the end below if you're below 1 liter. So I think, I'm not even sure when, if it's at 0.6 or 0.3 or something, or 0.5, where it starts to stutter sometimes, which is basically clear if with that amount or less fuel the car will not get a sufficient amount of fuel to burn, and it starts stuttering. But we're so far Gucci here. Our tactic has worked out superbly. Very happy. And if this will work, this will be my second VRS win. Doesn't happen that often, so for me something special. Of course, very happy. And this, I think this is the final lap. So just need to drive this home. And we still hit the corners nicely. I'm not slowing down or anything, as said in earlier videos. The best thing is to drive the same, even if you're in front, and if the margin is enough, drive the same as before, same speed, don't change anything, that works. What I did here was I just kept on. I was now kind of slowing, just saving a little bit of fuel, but it's anyway enough. I looked at the indicator. I think it was then at 1 liter for the last part, which is still fine. And as you can see, the strategy has worked out. And this was a win in Monza. I'm really very happy with this win. It was a fun race. It was a great strategy that I can use for other races also. A very nice race by P2 also. So this race was pushed me up to 1,890 iRating. I gained 0.17 safety rating. Very happy with the outcome, and let's see what the next 2 weeks what we can do. Also with the new rig, I will maybe post a video with that, building it up and just showing the details of it and everything. But let's see. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day. Have a nice weekend. Thank you very much. Bye bye.